Okay. So we're going to kind of wait for some of our attendees to come on.
No problem. Why is my email blowing up? Hold on a second.
And then I see we have some students coming on already. So hello everyone, my name is Tony Voorhees and I'm an international admissions counselor here at the University of Findlay. And along with me, we have Dr. Fenema Bloom, who's the Associate Professor and Chair of Language and Culture. And she's also the Director of TESOL and Applied Linguistics. And then we also have Dr. Reif, who is a Professor of Biological Sciences, Education, and Chair of Advanced Professional Programs. And then also just recently joined, we have Debbie Van Atta, who also works here in the International Admissions Office. And she helps with all of your immigration. And so she really is a big part of your application and your process to getting admitted to University of Findlay. So I see we have a couple people on, so I guess we'll go ahead and get started. I'm not sure, Dr. Reif, if you maybe just wanted to start, kind of introduce yourself, talk a little bit about your program.
Great. Well, hello to everyone, and I'm happy to be here talking to you about our Master of Arts in Education programs. We offer a big variety, so I don't want to talk too long, so please ask questions beyond whatever I introduce, and I'll be happy to give more details. Our program is been delivered online for a very long time, so all our instructors are very able to provide a lot of special guidance to you to support whatever your professional goals are. It designed around 5 core classes that everyone takes when they go for a Master of Arts in Education, that students enjoy all sorts of ways and to integrate them into the rest of the program that is more individualized. So that's 5 courses of a core that everyone takes, and then you have 6 courses that you work with an advisor to choose that'll support whatever your interests are. We have such a variety. You might be interested in younger learners and want to pursue our children's literature program and work with our Maza Museum, or my expertise is science, and you may want to be teaching science at a high school level, and we have programs to support that. We have a human resource development strand that's a little different than education, so we can support you if you're a teacher or an educator, but we also have some other master's degrees that would again support your professional goals, like if you want to design curriculum and instruction. And then we also have just a general master's degree to help you pick the kind of courses you would like to have, if you want to write grants, if you want to network. So we do have a big variety. So if you're interested, I would be happy to hear from you and put you in touch with the faculty member who could tell you more specifically.
Awesome. Dr. Fenema Bloom, do you want to talk a little bit about your program?
Sure. Hi, I'm Dr. Fenema. I run the Language and Culture Department, which is primarily undergrad, and the graduate program, TESOL and Applied Linguistics. Our program is a 36-credit program for an MA thesis. So we do a true thesis here if you're doing the MA strand. And we also have an online endorsement for Ohio teaching license, people who have the license to get the TESOL endorsement to teach ESL in high schools. So it depends on what track you want. Our courses are divided into a 5 set of core linguistics and pedagogy courses. And then we offer sociolinguistics, discourse analysis, research methods, and other classes that would help you become a scholar. We have a high placement with about 85 to 90% of our graduates going on for a PhD.
Awesome. So do you guys have any any information about any internships that students can get while they are taking your program? And then also really quick, if anyone does have any questions, drop them down in the Q&A box at the bottom, and then we'll try to answer them as quickly as we can. If you have a question for me, any of our professors here, or Debbie, and we'll try to get them answered for you in this sitting. So,
Gwen, do you want to go first?
Sure, I will talk about that. Internships from the College of Education most often involve in the schools, K through 12 schools, teaching, but also we support museum curators and naturalists out doing environmental education, what's called non-formal educators as well. The internship for our program, it's usually somebody who's already an educator who wants to add to their credentials and expertise. So we don't require an internship. And but each strand is different. Our human resource development strand does require some, I wouldn't call it a full-blown internship, but working very much with community resources and businesses. So we have such a large variety, it's hard to give an overview of what internships there are, but we do encourage always, all of our courses encourage you to use what you're learning right in the setting you're in at the time, whether you be teaching or working in a park or working in a library with children's literature. So each of those individual specialties, we would support an internship, not require them. Usually when you're talking to the College of Education group, an internship means student teaching and licensure. But I think for an international group, that is not so relevant because Ohio, here in the United States, we have 50 different states and they all have different requirements. So we try to look at the skills and the knowledge that'll be broad for anyone who comes in at the master's level. They usually have that baseline undergraduate degree and know how they want to extend learning. So that's what I would say about the internship question. We certainly encourage and support them, but there's no requirement. We also do not have a what you would call a thesis. It's much more of a using your skills as you move through the courses with whatever your professional goals or situation is. So that's how I would respond to that one.
Awesome, thank you.
We have an elective 599, which for international students puts you in our IELP. Our IELP is the Intensive English Language Program on campus, and it's sort of a lab school where you would shadow an IELP instructor on an adult level, and then eventually take over the teaching, sort of like student teaching, to hone your teaching skills from our pedagogic courses. We also do a lot of tutoring in the community because we have quite a few foreign companies located in Findlay, Ohio that often make requests for paid internships to teach English to their workers or family members. On campus, we also offer an ELL support center. This support center has limited positions for paid graduate assistants, or I think they're now TA positions. And in this center, then you would work and tutor anybody who comes to the center seeking help in culture, writing, reading, speaking, or listening. Within that center, you work really intensely with the director of the IELP and the teachers that work for that department. We also send you into content classes of high ELLs, such as the environmental science, to help almost in the push-in model to help collect information that then helps you tutor them in live. So we have a close relationship with Health Informatics. Once a year, one of our students are sent in there to learn a little bit more to help her people through their writing processes. As I said, a lot of community-based. So our ELL Support Center is also open to the local schools. And occasionally we will get K through 12 kids coming through that needs additional support outside of their K through 12 environment. And our workers in the center tutor K through 12 then. So it's really who comes in the door at any time. These positions are selected from people's volunteer. Our program requires about 24 hours of service to the community. So one of the ways you can build your service requirement is to volunteer within the center, and based on your performance within the center, then you're usually selected the following semester if there's an opening for the position. As I said, we're constantly by the community asked for translation services and tutoring, and we always hook our students up.
And can you kind of talk a little bit more about the TESOL program?
What would you like to know?
Just a little bit of an overview, kind of what it is, maybe the different levels of the TESOL program.
So the TESOL program started way back in the 1980s as TESOL and bilingual education. It has morphed into TESOL and applied linguistics because applied linguistics is an umbrella for the application of linguistics, which includes bilingualism and ESL. So our curriculum is pronged to 5 goals: pedagogic knowledge, linguistic knowledge, professional knowledge, and scholarly knowledge, as well as assessment and culture. So all our classes meet one of those objectives. So you would start with a basic linguistics class normally, or a second language acquisition class. Based on your personal goals and interests, your thesis can be 3 types. It can be a classroom practice thesis where you're going in and collecting primary data on pedagogy or an element within linguistics in the population. Or it could be a curriculum thesis because we have classes on curriculum and program design. So you might, for your thesis, do a curriculum thesis where you're looking at a current curriculum and how to improve it through a needs analysis, environmental analysis, or you may be writing a curriculum from scratch for like a cram school or a university program that you may wish to be working in or have worked in. And then the third type of thesis is completely scholarly, and it's a theoretical, where you pick a theoretical topic within discourse analysis or sociolinguistics and follow it through. So the thesis is where you would differentiate what your program goals are, whether it's pedagogy or straight up linguistics.
Okay. So do you guys maybe want to talk about kind of what the job potential looks like after graduation?
Glenn?
You want me to start again?
Well, it's a pattern.
Okay, it's a pattern. We love patterns. It is for our master's program. It is usually very much more used to advance somebody who's already in their career. It is a little less something that I think people pursue to help gain employment because it's a little more, they're already interested in an aspect of what they're doing and they are extending their knowledge. For example, we also have a master's strand that takes you from being a teacher to a school leader, like a principal or a superintendent is the level that we have here in the US. Other schools would have different educational administration structures, but that particular strand gives you those skills to move up. So we most often have people in the program who are already, maybe half I should say, are already employed and using it to extend their career. However, we also have a group of master's people who are moving from another field into teaching, and here in Ohio that's called licensure. So they add the courses they need for licensure and then they use the other part of their master's degree to be in the process of looking for a job. So for our program, it's a little more of a career booster than a career starter, but there are plenty of people who want to just get that done to have that credential. It's just so individualized on the person. I think the strength of our master's program is that we have so much flexibility that it really depends on the needs of our student that comes in. The core does sort of this sort of thing, like your first core class gets you to know yourself as a leader. It's really very much around leadership, the master's program, what you're like, what your strengths are as an educator or trainer. And then The next course that follows has you look at yourself in an organization. So you're learning more about how organizations work and then how your skills or building a team might work. Then there's how to work with a community and network as part of those skills. And then the last two courses, they're not a thesis, but they do take you into the research and the literature, sort of how to inform yourself a little more academically to move forward with projects and things that you want to do. So everybody goes through that set of skill building and information and getting to know their own self in the context of what they're doing. And then, as I said, the electives are chosen based on how to power punch all of the things that the person who comes in wants to do.
Okay.
I forgot what the question was.
What does the job opportunity or potential look like after graduation?
We have an extremely high placement rate. If you're willing to move outside of the state of Ohio, we can pretty much, I don't want to say guarantee, but I've never had a student not get a job upon graduation. There are opportunities. My faculty and I are networked with Korea, Japan, Asia, the Middle East. And so I know that our graduates are highly required. I get postings from different universities all the time that I pass on to the students. There's a lot of internship opportunities where many of our students go into Peace Corps work, as well as Georgetown offers a 1-year teaching placement overseas through their international outreach. And I would say I have local schools calling me all the time. So if you want to work in your field, it's pretty easy for our TESOL students to get, and applied linguistics students to get a job. I've never heard of a single student that wasn't placed within 6 months of graduation.
So do you feel like there's a better chance of getting a job outside of Ohio, or do you think it just kind of depends on which way you want to take it?
Again, yeah, it depends on which way you want to take it, because in our population, those who want to go to grad schools, to get a doctorate, they proceed to get the doctorate. Those who choose to go back into the profession, which I encourage, once you get your master's, to work a few more years before coming back to do a doctorate in the United States or in Britain. Again, it's really, the whole idea is, what do you want to do with it afterwards? I have a recent graduate who went straight through undergrad to grad, and she's now leaving on August 16th for Korea to teach in Korea for 2 years. She signed a 2-year contract. I have other students who went to Taiwan afterwards, and then now they worked for a university there through connections that we know in Taiwan. So a lot of our Saudi students come with jobs and they have to return to the job, or they come from the K through 12 and they're trying to get a university position. We have a lot of our students at King Abdul Aziz's college. That's the one that sticks out the most, and formerly known as Dammam University, which now I can't pronounce the king's name that they adopted, my bad. So yes, the opportunities are huge. It's just, what does the student want to do? And usually when they enter, we have a heart-to-heart about what direction do they want to go in. That doesn't mean you have to stay in that direction, but it helps me understand what preparations they need to do, both through their volunteer work as well as any internship opportunities I can give them.
Okay.
It's very tailored.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like, which is good, because it helps kind of give the student, their own personal experience here on campus. So
Our students also get hired a lot by international admissions. As GAs, they get hired a lot in the Buford Center to do project work, because part of being TESOL Applied Linguistics is the cultural training to work with diverse populations.
Okay, that's good to know. Definitely good to know. Any of our students on here, do you have any questions? These two ladies have given us plenty of information. I'm not sure if there's anything else you guys are interested in. If you want to ask us a question on here, or if you kind of think of something later, you're welcome to email me, and I can forward your question on to them, or if I can answer it, I will. Because I think for the most part, we're kind of up on our time, unless there's anything else you'd like to add about your programs. I still don't see any questions coming in. You guys gave a lot of information.
I should say probably one more thing about our program.
Okay.
I very much addressed our online ability, but we actually, for international students, do have, people who come and do mostly fully face-to-face. They work with a faculty member, Dr. Chris Mosier. They have all the access to all of those programs I talked about. But we do have a small but really fun, dynamic, diverse population of students who do attend face-to-face classes. But the majority of our programs are online. But we do love to have the face-to-face for sure students here. And please do feel free to reach out with any questions you might have. If I can't answer them, I'll put you in touch with the faculty member who knows the most about it.
Awesome, thank you. All right. Well, I think that's it for our time. And I appreciate you three joining me on this, and then also the students that were able to attend. We do have a question, actually.
We do have a question.
Yep.
Please can you help me to know when will I receive my revised I-20 for October so that I can plan my visa dates accordingly?
Miss Debbie?
Okay, sorry, I had to get myself unmuted there. We are going to be working on those probably within the next couple of weeks, and we'll be reaching out for those that have requested or to defer their admission to the October start date for the programs that have those start dates. So if anything else is needed or on our end, we'll let you know. So we'll definitely be in communication with you. Like I said, just give us a couple of weeks here and we'll get those all figured out.
Awesome. Thank you.
Actually, I have a question for Debbie that might be of interest. Can I ask?
Yeah, of course.
With our new plan for the fall semester, where we'll go through the Thanksgiving break at the end of November and then continue our classes online. When I talk to international students, and normally Dr. Mosier does that, but sometimes I get questions, that would allow them to return home, right, in a longer time frame, which is attractive to a lot of students who want to do that, and give them a longer time to be at home over the break before they have to return for the next semester. Is that correct, or would that be a concern for them visa-wise or anything?
No, visa-wise, no, that's not a problem. And immigration status will remain the same as it did in the spring when the spring semester went online.
Okay.
The biggest concerns right now is if students are going to be able to come in the fall. These are still closed around the other countries. Not sure when they'll start opening up. Then you have the travel restrictions. So those are still, we're watching very closely to see when those are going to be lifted, which again is why we're still kind of a little up in the air with the fall semester as far as who's going to get here. So, but, if you can't make it for the fall, spring is always an option. So that gives a little more time for things to get settled and,
Well, and for our program, they could sure start online if it happens in that way, and always then join in when they are able to come. I was hoping that was the case, but also when I talk to students about going home, everything's sort of up in the air with this global pandemic. But I just wanted to be sure that I was right, that could be an advantage if we do the seated courses to have a longer time frame for international students to get back. So thanks.
You're welcome.
So is there any other, we have another one. I'm very glad to be here. I just received my I-20 form. The next step is to pay the CVIS fee, right? Or is there anything that I need to do before applying for my visa?
Yes, your next step is going to be to pay the CEDAS fee. You should receive an email if you have not already. fmjfee.com, I believe, is the website. If you pay that CEDAS fee, you'll get the receipt notice. You need to have that. So when you go to apply for your visa, you submit the DS-160 application, pay for that. And then when you go to your visa appointment, you make sure you have that the CEDAS fee payment receipt with you as well.
Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions about our programs or questions for Debbie? Well, I think we're all finished, guys. So thank you so much again for joining me today. And we will hopefully, like I said, if we have any questions, we will make sure to forward them to you or whoever we feel appropriate. So, all right.
Great.
Well, thank
All right.
you.
Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, have a great rest of your day. Bye.